I'm Bob at ILikeToMakeStuff. Today we're going to see if we can finish this kitchen. When you're watching TV and you see people renovate their kitchen, they have to skip over a whole bunch of stuff to fit it into the time allowed for TV. On YouTube, we can do whatever we want to. So, in this video, we're going to spend some time going through the rest of the kitchen and talk about a lot of the little details, the decisions that you have to make in the process that often get skipped over. You see the big parts like demolition, you see some of the cabinet building, which we still have a lot to do. But there is a whole lot more to it. So let's jump into some of the little details that we still have to do to finish this room up. One of the things that gets completely glossed over on a TV show is how to deal with the timelines of renovating a kitchen. There's a huge number of decisions to make, and those take time. And then once you make those decisions, you have to order stuff, and that takes time. And there's all sorts of delays that can be built into that. For example, it took us forever to decide on the appliances that we wanted. They just showed up. But after we ordered them, the oven that we chose got discontinued and they canceled the order. So we had to go back and choose all new stuff that matched and worked together and then reorder them, and then there was a delay in shipping. It took a long time for them to get here. And unfortunately, most of your cabinetry is built around your appliances. In this case though, we were lucky because these manufacturers actually had CAD models of all of their products on the website, so we could import those into Fusion and then build the cabinets around them. So the appliances that we got are this brand new range, which I'm really excited about. We also got a new dishwasher down here and a new wall oven to go over here. Now, most of these things can be put in place, but the wall oven actually needs to be screwed into the cabinetry. And so I can't actually put this in place yet completely because we also haven't chosen a paint color. We have to paint these cabinets and this trim behind it before we can screw this in. So there's a little bit of delay on getting some pieces installed, whereas the freestanding ones are good to go. Another one of the big timelines that you have to think about are cabinetry and countertops. You have to have all the carcasses in place and locked to the walls or to the floor before you can measure for countertops. And then it takes a couple of weeks to get somebody out to measure and then several weeks for them to manufacture. So I had to get all these carcasses in place. You saw that in a previous video. And I didn't get all of the doors on because the priority was getting the carcasses locked down so we could measure. So now that that's in progress, I'm going back and putting on all these doors, and I've got some basic doors on the front of the cabinets that are open under the sink and all that. But I wanted to show you this. This is a dishwasher that's called a panel-ready dishwasher, which means it has a super ugly front because they're expecting you to build a panel to match your cabinetry to stick on here. So this thing is actually not set in place yet because I want to make this panel. It's going to look just like these other doors. I'm going to get this mounted and then get it all leveled and all that stuff before we actually screw it into the cabinetry around. Again, we had the space perfectly fit for this because we had a CAD model from the manufacturer. This video is sponsored by Bloomscape, and if you're not familiar, Bloomscape was started by a family of 5 generations of horticulturists, and their whole goal is to get plants from their warehouse to your house. Now they've got an entire system set up where you can buy them online, and then they give you everything that you need. Tips and tricks and fertilizer and soil and pots, everything to make those plants thrive in your home. My wife loves plants, so we have a whole bunch on the inside of our house, but we actually don't have any in our back porch, so we decided to get one of the new bloom kits so that we can have some flowering plants hanging out here. The cool thing is you go to Bloomscape's website and then you pick the kit or the individual plant that you want, and if it's a kit, you get to customize it. You pick the pot that you want, the type of flowers that you want, and then they send you everything you need to help those plants do well in your environment. And depending on where you live, the weather may not be ready for you to plant things outside. You can go ahead and buy the plants now from Bloomscape and then save them until after the last frost of the year. Whether you're like my wife, who knows a lot about plants and is really good at taking care of them, or if you're like me, hit the link down in the description, go to Bloomscape and pick out what you want. Let them help you find the right plants for your space, and when you're ready to check out, use the code ILTMS. That's going to get you 20% off plant orders of $100 or more, so it's a fantastic deal. Be sure to go check out Bloomscape, and big thanks to them for sponsoring this video. When you're making cabinets, you can get into kind of a motion where you just like get all the measurements and you start cutting pieces and you move along, but occasionally you'll have a custom piece. Like I was showing you for the dishwasher earlier, I've got a single panel here that I had to make up that mimics 2 separate pieces, a drawer front and a door. Now there needs to be a gap right here, so I'm gonna go ahead and glue this up and get it clamped into a single piece. Then I'll go back and take it through the table saw and add a little kind of gap here, so it looks like that these are two separate pieces, but it really just be, from a distance, you'll see a continuing line along here onto the rest of the cabinets. This is just one of those custom things that you kind of have to account for. It takes a little extra time, but it's totally worth it. The other day we had the person come to measure for our countertops, and that was a really cool process to watch. He had a really interesting little device to use for that, but while he was doing that, I was asking him about the overhang. On our island, we're gonna have the countertop overhang the back side of it about 16 inches so that you can sit here on a stool. Well, that overhang is actually a way longer unsupported span than they recommend. So they told me that I needed to get some sort of a bracket. I ordered these brackets made just for this specific situation, and they need to go right here, be flush with the top of the countertops, and they need to be in something thicker than 3/4 material. So, got some 2x6s here. We're gonna screw these to the back side of that and then replace these 3/4 stringers with the big 2x6s. As you can see, we got our new vent hood installed. It took 3 of us to actually get it held in place and get all the screws put in and all that stuff. But that was actually the easy part. You have to connect this to some way to actually push all of that air out, either through a soffit or a vent or something. So we're gonna go up and do that. You also have to put power to this. I've got a wire run in the attic. I just need to create a receptacle so we can plug it in. But I wanted to show you this. When you put this thing in place and you have to slide it around against the wall and hold it, it kind of messes up the paint a little bit. So not only do we have to install this, but we have to go back and clean up around where it was put. All right, so I'm gonna do that work. Let's head up to the attic. So one of the things that's a big hassle is being up in the attic and having to work around the existing structure and all that. Our vent line is coming up from right over here, and we need to extend that pipe that we put in up so that it goes out this gable vent up here. Now you could send that out a soffit, you could put a flappy vent in the wall and have it go out that, whatever works for you, but either way you're gonna have to route it to the correct place, and that's always kind of a hassle in an attic. Since the last little clip that we shot here, a lot of time has passed. Earlier on in the video, I talked about how there were delays that you can't control and how we were still waiting on countertops. Well, that scene that we shot has been over a month ago. We're still waiting on countertops to show up. They're still not here yet, hopefully next week. But in the meantime, we're trying to finish up all the painting. So we've got a whole bunch of the painting done on the cabinets and a lot of the pieces installed. We've got several doors that are ready to go on and kick plates. So let's get to that. We're finally coming into the home stretch on the kitchen. The counters are going to be delivered and installed next week. So before that, I want to get the cabinets completely finished. I've got the doors hung, I've got all the drawer faces mounted, So now we just need to put on the handles and we can start using them. Some of the handles that we got, we could find locally, but we wanted some bigger ones. And so we had to special order these. Unfortunately, we had to wait about a week for these to show up. Another one of the delays that you run into. But now that these have all shown up, we need to figure out a way to install them all, and there's a whole bunch of them. This is a jig for mounting hardware, and this was sent to us by a company called True Position. It's not sponsored, it just showed up one day, but it's actually really cool. You can adjust the holes to match the hardware that you're using, and then you can use this sliding stop so that you can get it in the same position, and it's reversible. So you can work on it this way, drill some holes, flip it around on the opposite door. So let me show you how this works on one of the doors. I didn't drill any of these holes all the way through, and that's because I don't want them to blow out on the back side. So I've got another piece of wood, and I'm just gonna hold it up against it really tight, maybe even clamp it on, and then drill that hole all the way through this piece. Now that I have these on, I'm gonna keep the jig set up like this so that I can finish all of the doors. That should go really quickly. Then I can adjust it for the drawer faces. Now, we've been working on the kitchen for 5 months. And even since we've had the cabinets in place, we've not been using them because I knew that we were gonna have to put the pulls on them eventually. Now I'm finally at a point where I can do that. We can start using the kitchen, whether we have countertops yet or not. We started filming this video about 2 months ago. One of the first things I said in that video is that timelines become an issue. Well, it's still true because we were supposed to have countertops. They were supposed to be installed today, and as you can see, there are no countertops. They got delayed again, and they are delayed indefinitely. So rather than drag this video out anymore, let me show you where we're at in the kitchen. Who knows when we're gonna get countertops, but in the meantime, we still have a lot of projects to do. We need to put some lighting over our island. We need to add a tile backsplash, build some shelves. We still have a little bit of patching, lots of painting to do, and a bunch of custom inserts to go inside these cabinets. So my question to you is, how do you want to see that? Do you want individual project videos? Do you want big wrap-up videos? Let us know down in the comments. We've got tons of other types of projects that you may want to check out, and if you're not subscribed, be sure to do that as well. That's it for this one. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. And a TV show is our new stuff after picking. Had to pick. Okay. All right. Here. Some stools underneath it. You can sit up under it. And we can do that either. I don't know what I was gonna say.